how do you really go about that? Figuring out like connecting the images with the best revenue.
So it's a lot of it right now is contextual. So we've got a taxonomy engine that looks at the images, the image tags, the image names, the page title, the page tags, and scores them and weights them based on whether it's close to the image or not and what have you. And so we also do a domain level categorization, so we could look for all the beach photos on travel domains. And then it's just a matter of lining up the hundreds or thousands of different offers that we see on a daily basis through the different feeds that we get, and lining them up with the right images and the right domains at the very least. So
that easy, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Simple. So again, it's sort of, the work that these guys have done over the last year or two is not very simple stuff. I mean, the guys that we have working on it, sort of natural language processing sort of experts and sort of brighter minds than I, figuring all this out. So that's and like I said, that's really the sort of the first piece of it. Like you mentioned, there's all sorts of demo targeting, audience targeting that we strongly believe will play a big part in what we deliver. It's just a matter of advancing the creative formats a little so that marketers are comfortable.
So what was the impetus for rebranding? I mean, the company is pretty new still.
So when I originally joined up with Kevin and the guys, we were actually not Image-Based Media. We were called PicAd Media. And PicAd had a number of different problems with it.
I don't know, that's not the greatest name.
Not one of which was people thought we were a Star Trek focused Picard Media.
Oh, Picard. I was going to think like picking your nose.
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to go there.
Pickaxe.
Pick, you name it. So when we were looking at the opportunity, and Kevin kept describing what the opportunity was, he kept mentioning the image space, and even in a recent New York Times article, they talked about the value of the image space and advertising of the image space. So we quickly looked it up, and wow, Image-Based Media was available. So since it was available, and this is where we wanted to go, we thought, why don't we just own the name? We'll own the space, and sort of take it by storm. So we quickly rebranded as Image-Based Media, with an eye to sort of just keeping everything focused the way it was in terms of colors and layout and what have you. We sort of did the logo really quickly, did some press, and then sort of went forward with what we had. So now we've had a little opportunity to go through the traditional sort of marketing touchy-feely brand boards, creative specs, and what have you. And so we've got a fairly exciting take on Image-Based Media coming out.
How was that whole process?
It's really good. So when I did my first company, Dynamico, I was very, very skeptical of the process. I was like, what do you mean, how does this make you feel? But after sort of seeing what comes out of that several times now, I sort of buckle under and go, okay, it makes me feel happy.
So yeah, no longer Image-Based Media, it's ISM.
ISM.
Are you actually going by ISM or ISM?
I don't know. I'd have to ask the marketing person. But I think at the base level, ISM is a very cool sort of thing to start to do branding around. To start to do, what is an ISM? At the end of the day, though, we're still Image-Based Media. Our sole sort of goal is focused on how do we monetize the image space more effectively than anybody else.
I mean, what do you feel like the rebranding says about the direction the company is going?
I think it starts to give it a little bit more professionalism, a little bit more focus. As sad as it is, marketing plays a huge role in the life of a startup, and it can really be make or break. I've got a number of different friends who've started video companies, and they say, why does Bright Cove always get mentioned first and what have you? Marketing has been killer. Their PR has been killer. I mean, it doesn't help that, or doesn't hurt that they had Jeremy Allaire, one of the founders of Macro Media, on their sort of founding list. But I think that it's literally make or break for a lot of startups. And so to get a good, strong brand out there that people understand, that people can recognize, that people know, especially as we're going into this new sort of format, or not format, new inventory space called the image space. I think it's very important that we define it and own it, and people know when you say image space or when you say ISM or what have you, that they're talking about us. They're talking about what we do for marketers.
At least your name gets the first recognition.
Exactly.
People are going to know that.
Exactly. Yeah, so PubStop is the sort of relaunch of our publisher interface, basically. So when a publisher signs up to our site, they get access to a panel, basically a control panel, that they can go to. They can use it to register their domains. They can use it to set their information, their payment information, like their payment history, a whole bunch of fun stuff like that. If you've ever had a Google AdSense account, you probably know somewhat similar to what we're talking about. But what we've also done is, because we believe in a lot of the value of the data and publishers getting information back about what's working for them and what's not, is we've implemented a drill down reporting system for them, where they can drill down from the publisher top level, look at what their revenue looks like and where sort of key trends are coming and stuff like that, in terms of click-through rates and what have you. But they can also drill down into each domain, and then at domain level drill down to the image, and sort of see on a per image basis what's performing for them, what's not, what metadata we've associated with that image, the opportunity to input their own or override what we've put there. So it's sort of the first iteration in what we think will be a valuable tool for publishers. We're not only looking to have it be a reporting console and sort of an administrative thing. We think long term that publishers can derive real value from getting more insight into what's popular there, potentially even providing an API in and out of it so that they can drive their popular photo views off of their front page, what have you. So we're definitely thinking along the lines of how to not only just give the publishers the data, but give it to them in a way that they can then turn around and hopefully action.
So you really just kind of started the company like only about, what, 6 months ago?
Yeah, I mean, really, if you look at
so you had the idea for a while.
I had the idea for the while, and then it was really last August, basically, that July, August, that things really took off, and that revenue started going from a few $100s to thousands of dollars and upwards. So yeah, it's every month is just explosive month-over-month growth, and we're really excited now to actually have a biz dev person who will be signing up sites as opposed to just whatever coming in. I mean, we've got some massive photo hosting sites, some big social networks that have come to us, some a bunch of, I think, really good opportunities that now, once we start to put a little thought and effort behind them, I think are gonna, our growth is gonna be that much more explosive.
Yeah, what's the ride been like?
It's fun. I love it. It's I mean, if you take this and contrast it with your sort of standard job working at Thomson Financial or even probably Yahoo or Google, you just don't get it. I mean, when I've been involved at the ground level of probably 5 or 6 startups now, and I always say that after you take that first round of funding, where there's just this sort of irrational exuberance, and everybody believes, and everybody likes each other, and there's no politics, and everybody thinks it's a great idea, and it is, and it's working, and you're seeing successes every day. There's nothing like it.